I received an invite for my sister's wedding, and she mentioned not to bring my husband. The note was handwritten in the corner of the invitation, family-only ceremony. Just you. I read it 5 times trying to understand. Dan and I had been married for 6 years. He'd given my sister a $15,000 interest-free loan last year to start her jewelry business. She called him her favorite brother. They had inside jokes, so why wasn't he invited to her wedding? I called her 3 times that week, straight to voicemail every time. I texted asking if the note was a mistake. She responded with, "Just wedding planning is crazy. See you there." That was it. No explanation. I asked my mom if she knew anything. She laughed and said, "Your sister's being dramatic as usual. You know how she gets." My mom didn't think it was serious, so neither did I. But Dan said he'd stay home if it made things easier. The fact that he was willing to do that made me feel worse. Day of the wedding, I showed up alone wearing the dress my sister had helped me pick out 2 months earlier, back when everything was normal. I walked into the venue and immediately felt eyes on me. My aunt whispered something to my cousin. My sister's bridesmaids stopped talking when I passed them. Then I saw my sister. She was adjusting her veil near the ceremony entrance. When she spotted me, she rushed over and hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. She pulled back and whispered, "Thank you for understanding." Her eyes were watery. "Understanding what?" I asked. She just shook her head and said, "We'll talk after." Then she was pulled away by her wedding coordinator, and I was left standing there more confused than ever. The ceremony was beautiful. She looked happy. Her husband couldn't take his eyes off her. Everything seemed perfect. I started thinking maybe I'd overreacted about the whole situation. During the reception, I sat at a table with my parents and my uncle. My sister's husband kept checking his phone. Every 5 minutes, he'd look up and glance toward the entrance like he was expecting someone or worried someone would show up. His leg bounced under the table. I could see it shaking the whole setup. Then came the speeches. My sister's maid of honor went first. Sweet story about college. Then my sister's husband stood up. He thanked everyone for coming. He talked about how much this day meant to him. Then his tone shifted. He said he especially wanted to thank everyone who respected their wish for an intimate family ceremony. He paused and looked directly at me. Some people tried to force their way in today, but true family knows when boundaries matter. True family knows when to step back. My face went burning hot. The table next to me went quiet. People turned to look at me. I felt my phone buzz in my purse. I grabbed it under the table. It was my mom. Her text said, "Don't react, just read this. Your sister told me last month her fiancé has been obsessed with you since he met you at Christmas 2 years ago. She banned Dan from the wedding because her husband said he couldn't handle being around both of you. He wanted Dan gone so he could talk to you alone at the reception." I read it twice. My hands were shaking. I looked up and my sister was staring at me from the head table. Her face was pale. She was crying. She clearly didn't know he was going to say that publicly. I stood up. My chair scraped loud against the floor. Everyone was watching. I walked straight out of the reception hall. My phone started exploding, text after text. My sister saying she didn't know he felt that way. Her husband had hidden it from her. I made it to the parking lot before I heard footsteps behind me. My sister's husband calling my name. I turned around and he was jogging toward me. His tie was loose. He said we could finally talk without Dan controlling the situation. He actually said those words. I laughed. It came out harsher than I meant, but I couldn't help it. I told him my Uber was almost here. He looked relieved, like he thought I was playing along. That's when Dan stepped out of his truck, parked 3 spots away. He'd been waiting there the whole time. I'd texted him during the speeches to come get me, told him something was seriously wrong. He must have driven like crazy to get there that fast. My sister stumbled out behind him and vomited right there in the parking lot, still in her wedding dress. The sequins on her gown caught the parking lot lights as she doubled over. She wiped her mouth with the back of her hand, smearing her lipstick. She straightened up, mascara everywhere. "I can't do this anymore. I've been making myself sick for 3 months trying to be okay with how you talk about her." Her husband finally turned away from me. His face went from that weird, hopeful expression to something colder. "You say her name in your sleep," my sister continued, her voice getting louder. "You compare my cooking to hers. You bought me perfume she wears and got angry when I wouldn't use it." She looked at me with exhausted eyes. "He told me if I lost 15 pounds, I'd almost look like you in the right lighting." The words hung there in the humid evening air. I could hear music from the reception hall, some upbeat song that felt completely wrong for the moment. Dan's hand found mine and squeezed. My sister's husband opened his mouth to say something, but I cut him off. "Don't." I looked at him dead on. "I don't want to hear whatever excuse you're about to make. I don't want an apology. I don't want anything from you." "But he started. "No," I said. My voice came out stronger than I felt. "You humiliated my sister on her wedding day. You used me as some kind of, I don't know, some fantasy or whatever this is. And you tried to manipulate the situation to get my husband away from me. That's not normal. That's not okay." My sister was crying harder now, the kind of crying where you can't really breathe right. I moved toward her, but Dan was faster. He'd already pulled off his jacket and and was wrapping it around her shoulders even though it wasn't cold out. She was shivering anyway. "Get in the truck," Dan said quietly to both of us, not asking, just stating what was going to happen. My sister's husband stepped forward. "We need to talk about this. You can't just leave. This is our wedding." "Your wedding?" My sister's voice cracked. "You spent the entire reception staring at my sister. You gave a speech that was basically calling her out in front of everyone. She couldn't finish. Another wave of nausea hit her, and she dry heaved. Nothing left to come up. I helped her toward Dan's truck. The drive there felt like it took hours, even though it was maybe 20 feet. Behind us, I could hear my sister's husband saying something, his voice rising, but I didn't turn around. Dan opened the passenger door and helped my sister in first, then me. He climbed into the driver's seat and locked the doors. My sister's husband was standing there in the parking lot in his tuxedo, alone, watching us pull away. Through the side mirror, I saw my mom come running out of the reception hall, her heels in her hand. She looked between her daughter in our truck and her new son-in-law standing there, clearly trying to figure out what had just happened. "Where am I supposed to go?" my sister asked, her voice small. She was staring at her hands in her lap, at the wedding ring she'd been wearing for maybe 4 hours. "You're staying at a hotel tonight," Dan said before I could answer. "We'll come with you. You shouldn't be alone." I nodded. I didn't even think about asking if that was okay with Dan. The whole situation felt surreal, like I was watching it happen to someone else. We drove in silence for a while. My sister kept twisting her wedding ring around her finger. Finally, she pulled it off and just held it. The diamond caught the streetlights as we passed under them. "I knew," she said quietly. "We were at a red light. I knew he talked about you too much, but I convinced myself it was normal. Like, all guys compare their girlfriends to other women sometimes, right? That's just what they do." I didn't know what to say to that. Dan's jaw was tight. "He'd ask Mom questions about you," she continued, "about what you were like in high school, what your childhood was like. I actually felt, I don't know, flattered? Like he was interested in my family, in understanding where I came from." She laughed, but it was bitter. "How stupid is that?" "You're not stupid," I said. "I am, though." She was still staring at the ring in her palm. 2 months before the wedding, I found a photo of you as his phone lock screen." "What?" Dan's voice was sharp. "Yeah." My sister wiped her eyes, smearing mascara even more. "When I asked him about it, he said he'd grabbed the wrong photo from a family event and forgot to change it. And I believed him because, calling off a wedding 2 months out, with all the deposits paid, with family already booking flights?" She shook her head. I wanted to believe him. It was easier." We pulled up to a hotel, some chain place off the highway. Dan went in to get a room while my sister and I waited in the truck. She was still in her wedding dress. People walking by stared. One couple even stopped to take a picture, probably thinking it was some cute newlywed moment. If only they knew. "I started dressing like you," she said suddenly. "Did you notice? I started doing my hair the same way you do. I ordered the same drinks when we went out together. I thought maybe if I became more like you, he'd notice me more. How pathetic is that?" "That's not pathetic," I said, but I felt sick. I hadn't noticed. How had I not noticed my own sister changing herself like that? "I feel disgusting," she whispered. "I feel like I spent months turning myself into a copy of you because my husband wanted you instead." Dan came back with a room key. We helped my sister out of the truck. She could barely walk in her heels, so she took them off and carried them. Her feet were bleeding a little from where the shoes had rubbed. We must have looked insane. The 3 of us walking through the hotel lobby, her in a full wedding gown. The room was basic. 2 beds, a bathroom, a TV mounted on the wall. My sister sat on the edge of one bed and just stared at the floor. Dan's phone started ringing. He looked at the screen and sighed. "It's him." "Don't answer it," my sister and I said at the same time. He declined the call. Immediately it started ringing again. Dan declined it again. Then my phone started ringing. Then my sister's. All 3 of our phones just going off constantly. "Jesus Christ," Dan muttered. He answered his phone. "Stop calling." He hung up. Not even 10 seconds later, all 3 phones started ringing again. Dan answered again. I said, "Stop calling. We're not discussing this tonight. Leave us alone." He hung up. My phone rang from a different number. I answered without thinking. "Hello? Please," my sister's husband said. "I just need to explain my side. Everyone is overreacting. If you just let me talk to you for 5 minutes." I hung up. Immediately, my sister's phone rang from another different number. She didn't even look at it, just declined the call. Then Dan's phone rang from yet another number. He put his phone on silent. We all put our phones on silent. They kept lighting up though. Call after call after call. 17 missed calls in less than 5 minutes, all from different numbers. He's using random people's phones. Dan said. He's probably asking people at the reception if he can make a call. My sister started laughing. It wasn't a happy laugh. It was the kind of laugh that happens when things are so absurd you don't know what else to do. My wedding? She said between laughs. My actual wedding day. And he's chasing after my sister while I sit in a hotel room in my dress. She stood up and turned around. Can you unzip me? I need to get out of this thing. I unzipped the back of her dress. It took forever because there were like 50 tiny buttons too. When she finally stepped out of it, she just left it on the floor in a pile. She went to the bathroom in her undergarments and came back in one of the hotel robes. I'm going to take a shower, she said. A really, really long shower. Is that okay? Yeah, I said, of course. She disappeared into the bathroom. A minute later, we heard the water running. Dan sat on the other bed and put his head in his hands. I should have said something. Said what? I felt uncomfortable around him at family events, he admitted. He'd stand too close to you. He'd find excuses to talk to you alone, like at Thanksgiving. Remember when you went to get more wine from the garage? He followed you out there. I thought maybe I was being jealous or controlling, so I didn't say anything. I sat next to him. I felt weird around him too, but I thought he was just socially awkward. I didn't want to make things difficult for my sister. We sat there in silence for a while, listening to the shower run. My phone lit up again. My mom calling. I answered. Where are you? She asked immediately. People are asking questions. The reception is falling apart. He's in the bathroom crying. His parents are furious. What happened? I told her everything. About the lock screen photo, about him wanting Dan gone so he could talk to me, about the speech, about what he said in the parking lot. My mom went quiet for a long time. Finally, she said, I noticed him watching you at Christmas. I thought it was a little weird, but I didn't want to cause drama by mentioning it. I should have said something. I'm sorry. It's not your fault, I said. Is your sister okay? No, but she will be. Should I come there? Not tonight. Just let her process this. Let her breathe. We hung up. The shower was still running. It had been going for at least 20 minutes. I was about to knock on the bathroom door to check on her when it finally turned off. She came out with wet hair, still wearing the robe. Her face was scrubbed clean of makeup. She looked younger somehow, more like the sister I grew up with. Can I stay with you guys for a while? She asked. I can't go back to that apartment, not yet. Of course, Dan said. Stay as long as you need. We should go get your stuff tomorrow, I suggested. Your clothes, your things. You'll need them. I don't want to see him. You won't have to, Dan said. I'll make sure of that. My sister nodded. She crawled into one of the beds and pulled the covers up to her chin. Thank you, she whispered. Both of you. Dan and I shared the other bed. None of us really slept. Every time a car passed outside, my sister would tense up like she thought it might be him. The next morning, we grabbed breakfast from a drive-thru and headed to my sister's apartment. Dan called ahead and told him we were coming to get her things, that he needed to not be there. He hung up without waiting for a response. When we pulled up, there was a note taped to the door. It said, she is not welcome in his home, and that she'd caused enough damage. Like this was somehow her fault. Like she'd done something wrong by finding out her husband was obsessed with her sister. His home, my sister read aloud. It's his home now, not ours, his. Dan ripped the note down. I used my sister's key to unlock the door. What we found inside made my stomach drop. All of her things were already packed. Every single item she owned was in boxes stacked by the door. Her clothes, her books, her jewelry-making supplies, everything. He'd spent the entire night packing up her life. It had been maybe 12 hours since the wedding ended, and he'd already erased her from the apartment. My sister walked through slowly, checking each room. Her makeup was gone from the bathroom. Her shoes were gone from the closet. Even her photos were taken down from the walls. He's not heartbroken, she said quietly. He's angry. He's angry that his access to you is gone. Dan and I loaded the boxes into his truck. It took 3 trips. My sister sat in the passenger seat, not helping, just staring out the window. We brought everything to our house. Dan set up the guest room for her while I made lunch. My sister didn't eat much. She pushed food around her plate and then excused herself to go lie down. That evening, while my sister was sleeping, Dan and I sat on the couch trying to process everything. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. It's me. My sister's husband said, "Don't hang up, please." How did you get this number? I just want to apologize, to talk, to explain. Can we meet somewhere? Just you and me? No. 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking. There's a coffee shop on? No, I said again. This is inappropriate. You understand that, right? You're calling me behind my sister's back. Your wife's back. She's not my wife anymore, he said. She left me. You humiliated her at her own wedding. I didn't mean to. I was just trying to be honest about my feeling. I thought if I was honest, we could all talk about it like adults. I thought maybe you felt the same way and were just too afraid to say anything because of Dan. I hung up. Immediately, he called back from a different number. I didn't answer. He called 6 more times before giving up. Block all unknown numbers, Dan suggested. He's not gonna stop. I blocked unknown numbers on my phone. My sister woke up a couple hours later and came downstairs. She looked terrible, like she hadn't slept at all even though she'd been in bed for hours. Did he call you? She asked. Yeah. What did he say? I told her. She nodded like she'd expected it. He used to call me by your name sometimes, she said. During arguments, he'd get mad about something and he'd say your name instead of mine. Then he'd claim he misspoke, that he was just distracted or tired or whatever. I convinced myself it was because we spent so much time together as a family and names get mixed up. But it only ever happened when he was angry or emotional. She sat on the couch next to me. I need to tell you something. Okay. She took a deep breath. I'm pregnant. The words just hung there. Dan and I both stared at her. How far along? I finally asked. 8 weeks. I found out 3 weeks ago. I haven't told anyone, not even him. She put her head in her hands. I don't know what to do. I can't raise a baby connected to someone who was never actually in love with me. But I also don't know if I can, not have it. You don't have to decide right now, Dan said gently. You've got time. Do I though? Every day I wait, it gets harder to make a choice. And if I keep it, then what? He gets visitation rights? He gets to be in my life forever because we have a kid together? I can't do that. I can't spend the next 18 years dealing with him. What do you want to do? I asked. I don't know. Tears were streaming down her face. I really don't know. She sat in the bathroom for a long time that night, staring at the pregnancy test she'd taken weeks ago. She'd kept it, hidden in her purse, like she couldn't quite believe it was real. The weight of the choice ahead of her was making her physically ill. The next day, she made an appointment at a clinic. She didn't tell us where she was going, just said she had something to handle and would be back later. When she came back, she was quiet and empty. She went straight to the guest room and lay down. I knocked on her door a couple hours later. Are you okay? I handled something, she said through the door. I just need to lie down for a bit. I didn't push. I could hear in her voice that she needed space. The next morning, my sister came downstairs while I was making coffee. She looked different, not better exactly, but like she'd made peace with something. I ended it, she said. The pregnancy. I couldn't do it. I couldn't tie myself to him for the rest of my life. I hugged her. She cried into my shoulder for a long time. I feel relieved, she admitted. Is that terrible? I feel relieved. No, I said. That's not terrible. That's just how you feel. His mom keeps calling me, she said after she'd calmed down a bit. I haven't answered, but she's left like 10 voicemails. What does she say? I don't know. I haven't listened to them. I can't deal with his family right now. Later that day, my phone rang. I didn't recognize the number, but it wasn't blocked because I'd put my sister's mother-in-law in my contacts months ago for family event planning. I answered. Hi, she said. She sounded exhausted. I know you probably don't want to talk to me, and I understand, but I needed to call. Okay, I said carefully. My son has always gotten fixated on people, she said. The words came out heavy, like she'd been carrying them for a long time. Since he was young, he'd pick someone, usually a girl, and he'd become obsessed. He'd talk about them constantly, find excuses to be around them, compare everyone else to them. We thought it was just crushes, kid stuff, but it never stopped. I didn't say anything. I didn't know what to say. We hoped getting married would help him grow up and move past it, she continued. We thought if he had a wife, a real relationship, he'd finally settle down and be normal. But I guess we were wrong. I should have warned your sister. I should have said something before they got engaged. But I wanted to believe he'd changed. I wanted to believe my son could be better. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what he did to your sister. I'm sorry for what he put you through. And I understand if you want nothing to do with our family anymore. I wouldn't blame you. We sat in silence for a moment. Through the phone, I could hear her crying softly. I appreciate you calling, I said finally. I really do. But I think my sister needs space from all of this right now. From him, from his family, from everything. I understand, she said. Just tell her I'm sorry, please. I will. We hung up. I told my sister about the call later. She listened without saying anything, her face unreadable. She knew, my sister said finally. She knew he was like this, and she let me marry him anyway. Thanks for watching till the end. Make sure to like and subscribe to not miss the next story.